Hello, hello student. This is Pranesh Shukla, and today I'm going to deliver or explain the chapter The Rat Trap, chapter number 4 from the Flamingo book. Okay, so let's proceed. First of all, I explain about the author. The author is Selma Lagerlöf. She was born in 1858 and expired in 1940. She was a Swedish writer whose stories have been translated into many languages. Okay, a universal theme runs through all of them. Actually, Selma Lagerlöf was a kind of author who always had a kind of specific theme in all her writings. In those themes, there was a kind of belief that every person is good, but he is trained to be bad. And if again he is trained to be good, his goodness can be sparked and he can be awakened to be a good man. So, a belief that the essential goodness in a human being can be awakened through understanding and love. So, by treating the people with love and care, a person can make even a bad person to be the good one. This story is set amidst the mines of Sweden. Actually, Sweden is a kind of country that is in Europe, and there are a lot of places in Sweden which are rich in the mines. So, this story is also about the area which is nearby the mines. The mines are rich in iron ore, okay, so which figure large in the history and legends of that country. Actually, Sweden is a country in the story. Legends mean in the stories of Sweden, and in the history of Sweden, the plot of the mines have many times used there in the mythological stories or the legendary stories, etc. The story is told somewhat in a manner of a fairy tale. Actually, this is a story, but the story writing manner is a kind of a story writing manner which can be matched to the stories which are like fairy tales. Okay, so first of all, before explaining anything, I am going to give you the meaning of these expressions. Okay, so first of all, you can see there, keep body and soul together. It means that to spend your life anyhow, to live your life. Suppose you are living your life by anyhow managing something, so you are keeping your body and soul together. Means to live your life, to spend your life, to survive. Actually, plots along the road. Plots mean move on, wander. Along the road means by the road, going through the road. I mean along the road, with the road you are just going on. Impenetrable prison is a kind of prison that cannot be penetrated. It means you cannot pass through that prison. So prison is so strong that you cannot pass through the walls of the prison. Prison means jail. Eased his way means when you make your way in a crowded area, so make you usually prefers the spaces which are quite easy. So ease your way means to make your way by making yourself easy, or by going through the easy areas or easy spaces. Things have gone downhill means to face the rough circumstances. Hunger gleamed in his eyes. The meaning of this means he was so weak that even there was no spark in his eyes, and anyone could see by looking only in the eyes that he is very hungry, he is suffering from malnutrition. Unwanted joy means unlimited joy, limitless joys, a kind of joy which cannot be measured even. Nodded means to say, to make a gesture for agreeing someone. Okay, so nodded mean to make a gesture by moving your head, by shaking your head. A haughty consent means, a consent means agreement, or when you give your permission. Haughty means arrogant permission. Fallen into a line of thought means when you become the part of a particular line of the people who have a same thought, so you are falling into the line of that thoughtful people. Okay, now let's begin the story. Once upon a time, there was a man. So already I have told you that the story has been explained in a fairy tale manner. So once upon a time, एक समय की बात है, there was a man who went around selling small rat traps of wire. So there was a man who was a rat trap seller, and rat traps are the kinds of small traps, small kinds of cages for the rats. Okay, so rat traps of wire means actually these were very crude kind of rat traps. So he was going on different areas, and then he was selling the rat traps. Rat trap was not a factory made or finished good well finished rat trap, so it was a rat trap that was crudely made, a handmade rat trap. Okay, he made them himself at odd moments are the moments when you you are completely out of your money. So once he earned some money, unless until he was losing, he was expensing all that money, he was not going to make them. So at odd moments means the moments when he extremely need money from the material he got by, and from where he was going to make the red traps, that by that material that he got by begging in the stores or at the big farms. So when he was going in the stores or whenever he was going to big farms, he was getting that money, that actually not money, that things which were there he could find. Okay, but even so the business was not so profitable, so he had to resort to both begging and petty thievery. Actually, he was not having a very well finished rat traps, and that's why these were crude rat traps, so he was not going to have a, a handsome profit or even a good profit from them. So that's why he had to depend to both begging and petty thievery. Petty means small, thievery means the act of committing thefts. To keep body and soul together mean to survive. Even so, his clothes were in rags, and because of that, his clothes were very ragged. Ragged means, torn clothes. His cheeks were sunken. Sunken mean very weak, very puckered, very shrunk. So his cheeks were without flesh. And hunger gleamed in his eyes, and there was a hunger that could be noticed in his eyes. It means the eyes were so poor, so weak. No one can imagine how sad and monotonous life can appear to such a vagabond. Actually, life becomes so colorful if you have riches, if you have money, if you have family. But this man was completely alone and without any penny or without any money. So, no one can imagine means it is even quite hard to imagine how sad means how dejected, and monotonous means tedious, boring life this man had. To such a vagabond. Vagabond means a person who is vagrant, who is wanderer. So that is a vagabond. So no one, actually the struggles of his life and the loneliness of his life is quite unexplainable, unimaginable. Who plods along the road? So this was a man who plod mean who wandered along the road mean by covering the different lengths of the roads, left to his own meditations. So actually he was alone. So usually he was absorbed in his own thoughts, in his own meditations. But one day this man had fallen into a line of thought. But one day, suddenly, randomly, a kind of thought spark in his mind, which really seemed to him entertaining. And this was a kind of thought which was so much entertaining that he did not want it to forget it. Did not want to forget it. He had naturally been thinking of his red tracks. Actually, one day he was thinking about his red tracks casually. Naturally, he was thinking about that. Then suddenly an idea struck in his mind. So he was struck by the idea that the whole world is nothing but a big rat trap. Again, I speak the whole world about him, the whole world with its lands and its cities, seas, villages, nothing but a big rat trap. So whole world is a big rat trap. It had never existed for any other purpose than to set baits for people. And the only purpose of this world is to set baits. Set baits mean to offer the greed. By offering the greed, the man chase the greed, and finally he gets into the trap. It offers riches and joys and shelter, food, heat and clothing. So world is actually offering a lot of things which are very comfortable, but people blindly chase those comforts, and finally they end up locking themselves under a red trap. So exactly, the red traps offered cheese and pork. So the world is like the red trap. Red trap offers cheese, world offers riches. Red trap offers pork, world offers joys, etc. And as soon as anyone let himself be tempted to touch the bait, it closed in on him. So as soon as anyone just try to get himself attracted to the bait, he finally locks himself inside that. And then everything come to an end. So for today, it's enough. And in the next video, I'm going to explain some more paragraphs. Thank you very much. Thank you.